What exactly are UFOs, and from where do they originate? These two questions have mystified scientists across the globe for generations. The cosmos contains as many as 1 septillion stars, a figure denoted by 1 followed by 24 zeros. This presents a compelling case to open-minded scientists that these mysterious objects might originate from one or more of these distant celestial bodies. Additionally, numerous individuals who claim to have made contact assert that these supposed extraterrestrial beings journey from diverse star systems scattered throughout our vast universe. Therefore, unsurprisingly, the extraterrestrial hypothesis has become the textbook explanation for the origin of UFOs. Nevertheless, others entertain the notion that these mysterious entities might have their roots much closer to home, perhaps from deep within the bowels of our own planet. This theory gained prominence after American naval officer Captain Richard E. Byrd claimed to have unveiled an enigmatic alien civilization nestled deep beneath the heart of Antarctica during a reconnaissance flight in the 1940s. According to his claims, this hidden world boasted its own unique atmosphere, complete with a celestial dome featuring its own sun, moon, and sky. A different school of thought suggests they could be the pinnacle of clandestine military innovation, potentially up to half a century more advanced than any technology currently showcased to the public. This might sound like the stuff of science fiction. Still, Ben Rich, once leader of the enigmatic Lockheed Skunk Works, claimed that hidden away in the vastness of the desert lie technologies so advanced that they could take ET back home. If the fantastical worlds of Star Wars or Star Trek have ever captivated you, Rich boldly asserted, "We've been there, done that." Yet, amidst the myriad of theories, a new, intriguing hypothesis has recently surfaced. After years of tireless investigation, this groundbreaking perspective might just hold the key to unraveling the enduring mystery of UFOs. To truly untangle the mysteries of unidentified flying objects, we must embark on an exploration from a radically new viewpoint. Armed with this new perspective, UFO cases that may have initially struck us as bizarre or far-fetched start to make much more sense. Let us start this exploration with a man named Eddie Laxton. In the dim, early hours of March 23, 1966, Eddie was cruising down Highway 70, straddling the border between Texas and Oklahoma without a care in the world. At the time, Laxton, who hailed from Temple, Oklahoma, was serving as an electronics instructor at Shepherd Air Force Base. Although he may have received some training in dealing with unusual situations, nothing could prepare him for what was about to happen. As his car curved along the road, his beams fell upon an unexpected sight. A silvery, oval-shaped object was mysteriously parked in the middle of the asphalt. Compelled by curiosity, Laxton brought his car to a gentle halt. With a mix of caution and wonder, he stepped out and approached the anomaly. There, beside the otherworldly craft, stood a figure. This person was clad in the familiar and unassuming uniform of GI fatigues, the standard military work attire. Yet, he seemed as out of place as the object itself. Rushing back to his car, he fumbled for his camera. But as he spun around, camera in hand, he caught the tail end of an extraordinary scene. The man was ascending a ladder, disappearing into the belly of an enigmatic craft. With a silent, powerful surge, the vessel lifted off, cleaving the air vertically with an ease that defied physics. Emblazoned on its side, the letters and numbers, TL-41, stood out like a cryptic message waiting to be unraveled. Within a mere 5 seconds, it had covered a mile, vanishing into the distance with astonishing speed. As it turned out, Eddie wasn't the only observer of a UFO that fateful night. The tail, once it splashed across the pages of local newspapers, acted like a beacon, drawing out accounts from numerous truckers. These drivers, it emerged, had encountered similar otherworldly vessels hovering over the same stretch of road. Nevertheless, we will center on Eddie's experience, for he was the only person to catch a clear, unmistakable view of its occupant. Mr. Laxton's encounter captivates not through tales of high drama or elaborate conspiracy but through the sheer, unadorned peculiarity of its details. What are we to make of such an encounter? There are no minuscule beings clad in shimmering metallic attire, no spindly creatures with oversized crania and bulbous eyes. Instead, a human of standard stature was garbed in what seems to be unassuming workwear identical to the uniforms donned by countless American soldiers on a daily basis. The notion that the peculiar object could be a celestial visitor seems just as unfathomable as the possibility of it being a clandestine creation of our own government. This leaves us pondering with heightened curiosity. Who, then, if not them? In the early 1950s, a bold shift took place among the first wave of ufologists. These trailblazers started to question the once dominant belief that flying saucers, or UFOs, hailed from distant extraterrestrial planets. Among these avant-garde thinkers was one particularly influential yet often overlooked figure, Ray Palmer. From the outset, Palmer, in collaboration with Kenneth Arnold, made waves with their groundbreaking publication, The Coming of the Saucers. This work not only challenged prevailing notions but also ignited a re-evaluation of the mysterious phenomena filling the skies. Palmer uncovered a riveting connection between UFO phenomena and ancient practices mystically referred to as the occult. This revelation wasn't immediately embraced, but as time marched on, a growing number of researchers started to see the merit in Palmer's theories. They recognized that the answers to the enigmatic UFO puzzle might not be scattered among the distant stars but hidden much closer to home, deeply intertwined with our planet's own mysterious past. In a riveting conversation, Dr. J. Allen Hynek, the esteemed director of the Center for UFO Studies and the former scientific consultant to the enigmatic Project Blue Book, unveiled a provocative perspective. The conventional notion that unidentified flying objects are merely physical spacecraft from distant galaxies may be too simplistic, he declared. Dr. Hynek invited us to expand our horizons beyond the tangible by suggesting that these phenomena might originate from realms beyond our current understanding, such as the mystical astral plane or the elusive etheric plane. Prominent researcher John A. Keel swiftly came to an intriguing conclusion upon delving into the enigma of UFOs. There exists a parallel, unseen realm intricately woven into the very fabric of our reality. This hidden dimension, he theorized, could hold the answers to the countless mysteries that dance just beyond the edge of human understanding. In their captivating book, UFOs, What on Earth is Happening?, theologians John Weldon and Zolo Levitt took us on a daring exploration beyond the visible, asserting with conviction, the time has come for us to awaken to the truth that a spiritual realm exists. This unseen world, invisible to our ordinary senses, unfolds in tandem with our earthly journey, exerting a profound influence over our lives at every moment. We refer to this dimension as a parallel world, a realm brimming with a myriad of beings and entities, as diverse and populated as the world we perceive with our eyes. This invisible yet incredibly vivid world intertwines with ours, shaping our reality in ways we are only beginning to understand. This echoes the whispers that have been passed down through millennia by mystics and occult practitioners. In the hallowed pages of the Encyclopedia of Ancient and Forbidden Knowledge, we are ushered into a revelation that the astral world, much like our own, is mapped with its own unique geography. This unseen realm is intricately structured with its own regions, specific points in space, myriad places, kingdoms, and even countries, mirroring the complexity of the material world we inhabit. However, the astral realm holds its mysteries, as some of these ethereal regions float in isolation, unanchored to any physical counterparts. Yet, intriguingly, other areas establish profound connections with our tangible world, creating unseen bridges between the material inhabitants and the spectral territories of the astral plane. Speaking about the existence of other worlds is one thing. It's pretty simple to weave tales and make blind assertions about realms beyond our own. However, it's an entirely different challenge to support these claims with theories that the scientific community embraces. This raises a pivotal question. Do we have robust scientific groundings to anchor our belief in other worlds that coexist with our own? Surprisingly, the answer is affirmative. Yet, this confirmation is as bewildering and extraordinary as the question itself. In 1927, physicist Werner Heisenberg sent shockwaves through the scientific community with his groundbreaking uncertainty principle. Before Heisenberg's pivotal discovery, the prevailing view of the universe among physicists wasn't unlike that of the layperson today: an object either existed or it didn't. Heisenberg shattered the conventional perspective by asserting that an accurate depiction of the universe necessitates envisioning it in every conceivable state simultaneously. Imagine, if you will, a man who is simultaneously alive, deceased, and yet to be born, each condition genuinely coexisting. This notion propelled us into a realm of a schizophrenic universe, with physicists themselves teetering on the edge of this bewildering precipice. Heisenberg unleashed chaos, and it took half a century for the cosmos to regain a shadow of harmony. Then, John A. Wheeler, a visionary physicist from Princeton, alongside Hugh Everett, crafted a theory that eclipsed the wildest plots of science fiction but validated the speculations of ufologists and mystics. Their theory, known as the Everett-Wheeler interpretation, envisioned a universe in which every point in space didn't just connect with every other point but was also intricately woven together with every moment in time, past, present, and future. This concept effectively collapsed the dimensions of time and space to nothingness. Therefore, in their equations, Everett and Wheeler unlocked the thrilling possibility of transcending the speed of light, navigating the currents of time itself, and voyaging across the boundaries to other universes. Everett and Wheeler eloquently proposed that to capture the essence of the cosmos in its entirety, one must embrace the notion of countless other universes and realms beyond our own. They imagined an endless expanse of universes, each a unique yet imperfect reflection of the others, silently coexisting side by side. These myriad worlds, though nestled in the same cosmic landscape, remain blissfully ignorant of one another's existence. The cosmos is ceaselessly dividing, giving birth to an astronomical array of branches, each a slightly altered replica of the next. Within our own slice of reality, the Earth and all who dwell upon it are endlessly fragmenting into countless versions, each possessing its own unique reality and distinct narrative. In essence, a multitude of alternate Earths comes into existence, transforming every conceivable possibility into an inevitable reality that has manifested on some version of Earth across the endless passage of time. Given this perspective, it's entirely plausible that beings living in another version of Earth, or across multiple such worlds, have unlocked either psychic abilities or technological means to traverse the barriers separating alternate realities and are now exploring our Earth. When we consider this groundbreaking scientific advancement, the stories of those claiming to have encountered these visitors suddenly gain a new dimension of significance. The Laxton encounter, which initially set the stage for this article, serves as a fascinating example. Rather than navigating through a tangled web of conflicting details, we're now presented with a vivid image of an explorer from an alternate Earth. This parallel world mirrors our own in many ways. Yet, it holds a significant edge. Its inhabitants have mastered the practical application of the Everett-Wheeler interpretation, a feat that remains elusive to us. On a crisp morning of November 6, 1957, at precisely 5:40 a.m., along the serene shores of Playa del Rey, California, Richard Keogh found himself in the midst of an unforgettable encounter. Keogh, an employee at the General Telephone Company of Santa Monica, was driving on the tranquil Vista del Rey when the engine of his car abruptly ceased to function. Compelled to investigate, Keogh stepped out into the early light of dawn, only to be greeted by an astonishing sight on the beach. There, resting on the sands, was an otherworldly craft. It boasted an egg-shaped design and was adorned with two metallic rings at its base. Surrounding this mysterious vessel was a captivating blue haze, enveloping it in an aura of the unknown and the unexplained. Keogh recounted observing two figures, each standing around 5.5 feet tall, disembarking from the mysterious craft. Bathed in the morning's early light, their skin exhibited an unusual yellow-green hue, setting them apart from ordinary humans. Their attire was striking. They were clad in sleek black pants contrasted by pristine white belts and light-colored jerseys. Keogh said that during his encounter with these beings, they inquired with a curious intensity about their destination and the current time. After a brief exchange, the figures re-entered their vessel, which then ascended gracefully into the heavens. The strange incident left Keogh with more questions than answers. Here, we find compelling evidence that supports the notion we are encountering voyagers from parallel Earths, not beings from outer space. Save for the hue of their skin, they mirror us closely. In fact, their resemblance to us is so striking it defies the likelihood of alien evolution. The inquiries recalled by Keogh suggest that discerning the current time stood out as one of their primary concerns. Yet, the fact that it was 5:40 a.m. would be utterly nonsensical to them, Fatis, unless they originated from a world that synchronized its clocks with ours. This scenario would be highly improbable for extraterrestrial beings. No matter how you dissect the situation, it defies logic for them to inquire about the time unless they hailed from a parallel Earth. Or perhaps they were hinting at something entirely different. A civilization possessing the enigmatic ability to navigate between worlds would undoubtedly perceive time differently from us. In their query regarding our methods for measuring time, they might have been expressing confusion not just about our temporal framework but also about the spatial dimensions of our universe. For such beings, time and space intertwine, essentially becoming two sides of the same cosmic coin. To them, the passage of time, whether it spans a year or stretches across a million years, holds no distinction. Given this perspective, it's hardly shocking that those who've encountered them are repeatedly urged to elucidate our notion of time. It's conceivable that in some of their realms, the way time is measured diverges vastly from our own and is not anchored to the birth of a prophet or any similar event. In another remarkable incident, a woman became mesmerized after noticing an unusual formation of lights while strolling through a field. Then, suddenly, without warning, she collapsed into the grass and entered into a trance-like state. One particular light descended, floating just a few feet above the ground at the edge of the meadow. Her companion, known as Mr. Ralph Butler, extended a hand in concern, only to halt in astonishment when a metallic, otherworldly voice emanated from the woman's lips, posing the question, "What is your time cycle?" Numerous enthusiasts of UFO lore have come to understand that time plays a critical role in the enigma, yet often, they overlook its profound complexities. Time stands as a pivotal element in the UFO enigma. John Keel enlightens us in his work, UFOs, Operation Trojan Horse, asserting, time, in reality, is an illusion. Individuals who have had contact with these enigmatic travelers have described the bewildering experience of time dilating and contracting around them. In 1959, Mr. R.D. Smallridge was mysteriously transported from his motel room in an instant. He found himself spending what felt like 2 hours in an uncanny space, engaged in conversation with diminutive beings. Despite the duration of this encounter, when he was brought back to his motel room, the clock, which was in perfect working order, still displayed the time as 12:05, precisely as it was when he vanished. In some instances, individuals who've encountered extraterrestrial beings have vanished for days, though to them, it feels like mere hours have passed. Mediums and channels for automatic writing, who appear to navigate beyond the confines of time and space, have described experiencing similar distortions of time, both compression and expansion, as those reported by those who've had close encounters with UFOs. Because their physical forms are firmly rooted in our realm, the distortion of time that wraps around their consciousness turns it into a matter of personal experience. However, this subjective twist does nothing to diminish its tangible reality. Since time and space hold little significance for these wanderers, our thoughts turn to those who vanish from our world without a trace. These aren't individuals fleeing from debts or victims of wrongdoing. Instead, they are those who disappear without any reason or leave behind any clue, as if swallowed by the very air around them. On an eerily quiet October night, as Frederick Valentich piloted his way across the shadowy waters of Bass Strait off the southern coast of Australia, both he and his aircraft vanished into thin air, leaving behind nothing but silence. The morning dawned like any other, unremarkable and routine. Frederick embarked on his journey at the stroke of 6:20 p.m. from Moorabbin, setting his sights on King Island. His mission was simple: to accumulate the necessary flying hours for his license. Yet, as the clock hands aligned at 7 p.m., an unforeseen event shattered the monotony of his flight. Contacting air traffic control in a voice laced with unmistakable terror, Frederick reported a shocking encounter. An object of unknown origin, gleaming with a metallic sheen and adorned with dazzling green lights, was hovering ominously close to his aircraft. Steve Roby, the air traffic controller, recounted that during their final exchange, Frederick's voice carried a palpable unease, a distinct disturbance that clung to his words. Yet, for all the emotional turbulence that seemed to underpin his tone, there was no hint of confusion or cognitive disarray. His speech was clear, free from the muddles or aimless utterances that might suggest a mind lost to disorientation. Quoted in the Sydney Morning Herald, Roby emphasized the authenticity that resonated in Frederick's voice, painting the picture of a man genuinely grappling with his circumstances yet fully aware and articulate. The first question Frederick posed to the air traffic controller was about the presence of other aircraft nearby. The controller's response was a definitive no. It was then that Frederick delved into the bewildering encounter he had just experienced. He described seeing a metallic craft adorned with glowing green lights pursuing his plane with an unsettling precision. According to his account, this mysterious aircraft exhibited erratic movements and speeds that defied any conventional understanding of aviation. It seemed to dance around him, at one moment soaring overhead, the next vanishing into the horizon, only to reappear moments later, zooming towards him at an astonishing velocity. Frederick couldn't shake off the feeling that this otherworldly visitor was engaging him in a surreal, high-stakes game of cat and mouse. The exchange of inquiries and vivid descriptions ebbed and flowed until the clock struck 7:12 p.m. It was then that Frederick declared with certainty, "This is not an aircraft." Following his statement, the only sound to break the silence was an enigmatic, metallic resonance that filled the air for an unbroken span of 17 seconds. After that, an eerie quietude settled over everything. Frederick wasn't alone in witnessing the enigmatic spectacle that night. Eyewitnesses scattered across the terrain recounted visions of objects aglow with brilliance or cigar-shaped vessels darting across the sky at astonishing velocities. While a concurrent meteor shower might explain some of these sightings, it falls short of clarifying the peculiar maneuvers of these objects, which seemed to zigzag and weave through the air with deliberate agency. Unlike meteorites, which plummet earthward, pulled by gravity's inexorable tug, these entities appeared to navigate the heavens with a purpose, defying natural descent with their capricious flight paths. Intriguingly, it's worth mentioning that another pilot encountered eerily similar phenomena just days after Frederick's disappearance. Though not as intensely bizarre as Frederick's ordeal, this encounter was nonetheless startling. Fortunately, this pilot managed to navigate through the mystery and landed without any trouble, a stark contrast to Frederick's fateful journey. The authorities launched an extensive search operation, scanning the skies and combing through the waves for 4 long days, hoping to uncover any debris from his aircraft or the slightest trace of his presence. Yet, despite their relentless efforts, they came up empty-handed. Those who knew Frederick best couldn't fathom the idea that he would fabricate such an ordeal. They described him as a man brimming with joy, grounded in honesty, and unwavering in his stability. The authorities launched an extensive search operation, scanning the skies and combing through the waves for 4 long days, hoping to uncover any debris from his aircraft or the slightest trace of his presence. Yet, despite their relentless efforts, they came up empty-handed. What truly transpired with Frederick Valentich? Consider this. His eerie exchange with the air traffic controller detailed unidentified objects darting across the sky at incredible velocities, bathed in peculiar luminescence. Pair this with corroborating accounts from ground witnesses who observed similar anomalies, and the notion of mere mechanical malfunction or pilot misjudgment fades into the realm of the improbable. Did he stumble upon a unique blend of thoughts that catapulted him into a different era or realm? Or was he abducted and, rather than being restored to his rightful moment and location, found himself abandoned in either a distant epoch or its far-off future, or perhaps even on a completely different version of Earth, an alternate reality where his existence had never been recorded? The only certainty is that a young man, brimming with potential, encountered something utterly bewildering and enigmatic before vanishing from our existence into the depths of the unknown forever. Time and space are in a perpetual state of flux, mysteriously displacing objects to realms where they defy logic. On February 19, 1965, a surreal event unfolded over Bloomberg, Pennsylvania, as the skies inexplicably wept small plastic pellets, blanketing Atwen T-square block radius. This bizarre precipitation ceased as abruptly as it had commenced, leaving behind no clue to its origins. The Earth has long been a stage for such enigmatic occurrences, where the most improbable of materials descend from the heavens, challenging our understanding of the natural world. Throughout history, there have been bizarre and astonishing reports of living creatures, such as fishes, frogs, and snakes, plummeting from the sky. These unusual showers often involve creatures of a single species, raining down on bewildered towns and cities. The prevailing theory suggests that powerful storms, brewing at great distances, might scoop up these animals and whisk them through the air for hundreds of miles before releasing their bewildered cargo upon unsuspecting communities below. To imagine such events, one must envision tempests of extraordinary precision, capable of sorting entities by their very nature. Yet, This hypothesis falters when confronted with even more baffling phenomena: the bewildering descent of non-living matter and substances from the skies. Picture, if you will, showers of plastics, droplets of paint, metallic wheels, and colossal ice blocks, each weighing hundreds of pounds, plummeting from the heavens. It's simpler to embrace the notion that a unique twist in the natural laws of existence, perhaps not even those governing our own reality, momentarily thinned the veils separating different realms. Brad Steiger, a renowned author and educator, has highlighted how our understanding of reality is, to put it mildly, malleable. The concept of solidity is an illusion. The universe offers not even a whisper of anything tangible. Contactees consistently return from their encounters bearing artifacts, eager to validate their extraordinary experiences. However, when scrutinized, these supposed tokens of extraterrestrial contact invariably reveal themselves to be composed of mundane, terrestrial materials rather than any miraculous space alloy. Based on these findings, skeptics and ufologists alike have denounced the contactee stories as fabrications, dismissing their evidence as nothing more than elaborate hoaxes. Nevertheless, within the framework of the hypothesis we're currently exploring, it would indeed be far more plausible to conclude that these artifacts are crafted from terrestrial metals rather than being forged from some enigmatic, extraterrestrial, or heretofore undiscovered materials. On the evening of July 13, 1967, Mr. Robert Richardson and his companion were navigating the roads of Toledo, Ohio, when an unforeseen encounter unfolded. As they rounded a bend, their vehicle unintentionally collided with a UFO, which was in the midst of ascending from the asphalt beneath them. The impact was sudden and unexpected, sending a shock through the air. In the aftermath of this otherworldly encounter, Richardson returned to the scene, where he discovered an enigmatic lump of metal lying on the road, a tangible remnant of the collision. Additionally, a peculiar, fibrous material was found clinging to the bumper of Richardson's car, marking the precise spot where it had made contact with the mysterious object. When Dr. Alan Utker from Wisconsin State University at Oshkosh meticulously examined the substances, he discovered they were crafted from a blend of iron, chromium, and magnesium. Of all earthly elements, this theory only resonates with clarity under the assumption that the travelers originated from an alternate version of our Earth, one where they have identical elements, rather than being voyagers from a remote celestial body. The notion that these ufonauts hail from parallel Earths rather than distant galaxies gains credence from their testimonies. We were simply too ensnared in our extraterrestrial fantasies to truly heed their words. On January 30, 1965, a transformative encounter unfolded for a ham radio operator. As the day turned to evening, he observed an enigmatic, egg-shaped craft elegantly hovering above Monterey Bay in California, casting a shadow over the serene waters. This unidentified object then made a gentle descent onto the sandy beach. There, the man was greeted by an extraordinary being who introduced themselves as Zeno. With a voice that resonated with warmth and wisdom, Zeno conveyed a message of peace, assuring the operator that their intentions were not of hostility but of curiosity and friendship. The contactee received a profound revelation. Their sole reason for existence was to observe, nothing more. Zeno, who displayed an enigmatic understanding of Earth without posing a single inquiry, harbored secrets beyond our comprehension. When queried about the origins of his spacecraft, Zeno unveiled a tantalizing mystery, stating that his home planet remains veiled from our view, obscured by a celestial body we are familiar with. In the frostbitten dawn of January 1973, David Swanner from Pulaski, Tennessee, found himself entwined in an extraordinary encounter with entities from a distant world they referred to as Planto. Swanner recounts vivid tales of how the Plantos escorted him on breathtaking journeys not only across the vast expanse of the cosmos but also through the intricate weaves of time itself. Swanner unveiled a captivating detail: the Plantos hail from a concealed world, shrouded from view by the brilliance of the sun, sharing Earth's orbit as its secret twin. This mysterious planet, mirroring Earth in every aspect, remains a hidden gem in the vastness of space. Time and again, we hear tales of these beings originating from this cloaked world, hinting at its existence as an enigmatic counterpart to our own. However, the notion of an undiscovered planet lurking within our solar system, particularly one as proximate as alleged, ventures into the realm of sheer fantasy. Such a celestial body could not have remained concealed from our scrutiny. Its gravitational influence on the solar system's inhabitants would have betrayed its presence, mirroring the discovery of Pluto back in 1930. The enigmatic utterances of theophonauts unravel into coherence once we grasp that they narrate tales of a parallel Earth. A world invisible to us, obscured not by celestial bodies but by the very fabric of space-time of our own planet. This hidden Earth they speak of, then, is not overshadowed by another planet in a literal sense but is veiled by the dimensions of our own existence. In the Swanner case, it becomes evident that they are discussing their own version of Earth, which orbits a star identical to ours yet exists in an entirely separate space-time continuum. What amplifies the peculiarity of these encounters is the fact that many of them involve beings who bear an uncanny resemblance to us. Thus, if they were to coexist silently within our midst, possibly due to some glitch in their technology, identifying them might be nearly impossible, save for their peculiar mannerisms or their eerily accurate foresight. A peculiar facet of this theory is the portrayal of gods from across the globe, stretching back to the Sumerian era and even earlier, as distinctly human in form. The narratives spun by ancient civilizations invariably feature a cultural harbinger who appears remarkably ahead of their time, almost as if plucked from the future. These stories frequently recount tales of gods endowed with technology that seems eerily advanced, blurring the lines between myth and a foretelling of technological marvels. These so-called deities frequently depart, promising to return someday. Proponents of ancient astronaut theories propose that these entities might be extraterrestrial visitors from another planet. But it makes more sense to believe that they may have originated from an alternate world, a world significantly more advanced than our own. This hypothesis resonates on multiple levels, offering a fascinating perspective. Imagine the day we unlock the mysteries of the Everett Wheeler interpretation, flinging open the gates to traverse all conceivable universes. On that day, we might unveil the astonishing truth that Planto, Clarion, Argent, and countless other realms are, in fact, just various incarnations of the same world, our very own Earth, seen through the kaleidoscopic lens of infinite possibilities.